All I know is Andrea Blatchford, and I love him. Now, I want to just really quickly jump into this story that with my guest that I have right now, because we don't have a lot of time, and she's got an amazing story. But let me introduce you right now to Desiree Lee. Desiree, thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to, I want to get as much out as we can with the short time that we have. So let's start right at the beginning. Were you born and raised here?
I was born in California. I was raised in Georgia. My parents divorced when I was 9 years old. My parents did a very good job as co-parenting. They raised me up in the church. I know every time to go to church and study and read the Bible and the scriptures, etc. During high school is where I really struggled with my peers and with my friends, and struggled from walking the right line of Christ, of what I was born and raised to do, and to follow in the crowd. It was really easy to get in trouble, but it was hard to get out of it during school.
Now, right away, though, I feel like, most teenagers probably could, I think everybody can kind of relate to that of, feeling out of place and wanting to fit in with their peers. Now, just on a side note, I want to ask, how were you as far as, like, school and, like, classes, grades, athleticism?
Oh, I enjoyed it, besides the fact of getting bullied or picked on, every now and then. But I made a 3.8 GPA during high school. I had 2 basketball scholarships, the captain of my basketball team. So I was fairly good, and with my studies and etc. And then because I got tired of being the nerd and not being liked by boys, or my friends doing things or going to the parties that I wasn't able to participate in, I quickly made a decision to say, hey, I want to be so cool, so let me do what I saw on TV, or let me do what I hear on the radio. And 2 weeks after graduating high school, I was incarcerated for 11 counts of armed robbery and 5 counts of aggravated assault.
Well, we'll rewind then. How did you go from being the 3.8 and being an athlete to what'd you say, 11 counts?
Yes.
Yeah.
I get that reaction all the time.
Yeah.
Somebody seeing a person like me coming from a background of where I came from doesn't normally think that I would say, hey, I am a convicted felon and I spent 4 years in prison. It was really difficult for me. I wasn't able to communicate with my mom effectively. She did a great job as parenting, but I think it was more so she was the parent, and I wanted so bad for her to be my friend, for her to give me advice on how to deal with the pressures in school. And that's a part of my story as well to parents. I'm not saying not to be the parent. There needs to be boundaries, there needs to be rules, etc., morals and values. However, you much rather your friend to get advice from the parent than to get advice from the friends that know nothing about nothing. And because my mom was the parent, I couldn't come to her as my friend. So I went to my friends that knew nothing about nothing, which influenced me to make those types of decisions to go along with the crowd. And that's what I really, really want to share with the parents, is to be the parent first. Always do that. I'm not saying that. Train up a child the way he should go. When he's old, he won't depart from it. My mom did that, and I have not departed from Christ. But at the same time, be the friend second. You much rather talk to them now than wait until they get in trouble, or wait until they get pregnant, or wait until they're on drugs to figure out why they did it in the first place. Let's address that issue now and bring communication and with parent and child to eliminate problems.
I definitely agree with that. That there should be a good balance, because as much as you want to train the child and discipline them in what they need, you also still want to have that relationship open enough that when they have a need, that they can come to you. As you said, who's better to go to than your parents who've been through that?
Absolutely.
And it's really ironic that I think every teenager does not believe their parents will understand what they've been
And
through.
I-
And every parent
I
was a
did it.
teenager. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it. And now that I'm a parent of a 6-year-old little girl, now I understand the position that my mom was in. My dad, he played an active part of my life, but though they weren't in the same home. I think the real issue is I'm not putting the responsibility of my decision solely on my mom, but it would eliminate it or prevented me from going that far if I was to have a better communication. It's funny how God gets your attention. It's really funny, and I say funny, it's not funny when you're going through, but once you come out and you're able to share your story or how God brought you through. How do you know God can make a way out of no way if there is no way? How can I tell you how good God is if I haven't experienced him for myself? And I'm just going based off other people's testimonies. And being in prison, I was able to experience his favor, his love. I'm so glad that God didn't give up on me. After me going through this and being disobedient and mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, that he still loves me enough to say, come here.
Yeah. What was that emotion, that feeling that you had when, on that breaking moment, that when you got arrested? Let's start there.
It was surreal.
I mean, did you think about, well, I'm getting what I deserve? Did you think about, I thought I was immortal? I mean, what was going through at that moment?
To be honest with you, it was 2 weeks after graduating that we were on a robbing spree for 2 whole weeks.
Wow.
I was afraid to go home to face the wrath of my mother because she was strict and these are the rules and you abide by the rules. You don't do that in my house. Or if you're grown, you're not grown until you can provide your own clothes, your own roof, etc., etc. So the reason why I stayed out so long is because I didn't know how to talk to my mom to come back home. And I think that's the struggle with a lot of children or a lot of teenagers, even young adults. We don't know how to get out of a situation. It's so easy to get in, but we don't know how to communicate and to get out of it. So at that moment, I didn't feel invincible. I was more afraid of going home than getting caught by the police. I was very naive to the whole prison system. I only knew about the prison system of what I saw on TV or what I heard in music and music videos, etc., etc. So I think that's what it needs to be. It's more open communication between parent and child, because I didn't go home, and when I got caught, I was scared. It was surreal. How can a girl like me be in a place like this? It's like a movie.
I definitely, when we come back from the break, I definitely want to dive into your experience in prison, especially as a young girl, and I love what you say, being naive. But right now, what can you say to encourage the teen out there who is in that place that you just mentioned, that, well, I got into this, how do I get out?
It's never too late. It's never too late. What I didn't realize is that my mom loves me. What I didn't realize is that my parents love me, and all she wanted was for me to come home. And it didn't seem like that from my angle, but that's all she wanted, was her child to come home and to be safe, because she was worried as a parent. So to the kids, don't be afraid to talk to your parents or to call them and say, Mommy, I need help. That's what God says. Call on me and I will be there.
Amen. Wow, that's wonderful. Well, we're going to hear more from Desiree Lee in just a moment, right after we hear from Andrea Black as she sings to us The Love of God.